嗨，大家好，我是戴淑轩，我来自英国，欢迎回到我的频道。最近许多学生跟我说，英国人说那很有趣的时候 ，that's interesting， 意思是他觉得很无聊，不感兴趣吗？他们听说过英国人说话的方式不是很直接，比较拐弯抹角。不仅是一个学生跟我说这件事情，也是好几个。所以我觉得我想要拍个影片跟大家解释清楚，我们到底觉得有趣还是不有趣。我发现一篇文章The News Lens 关键评论，他们有报道一篇文章说英国人的文化是怎么样，可是我不是很同意这篇文章，所以我想来解释一下我自己的看法。从这篇文章我要一句一句的解释清楚。The first one is it's not bad. So if you go somewhere like maybe to see a movie or a theatre production or you eat some food and a British person says, yeah, it's not bad, they mean usually pretty much what they've said, which is it's fine, it's nothing special. It would be quite rude if you had made some food for them and they said it's not bad. That means they didn't really like it that much. So it's not bad 的意思是还不错，就是不是非常好，但是还不错，就是这么简单的意思。但最主要是要看他的语气，对不对？如果他说 Yeah, it's not bad, 他可能是非常喜欢。那如果他说it's not bad, 那就是不是很喜欢，就这样，对吧？下一个是 it's interesting. 英国人说 it's interesting 的时候是什么意思？So one of my students is actually doing her PhD and her supervisor kept saying to her, oh yeah, that's interesting. And so she felt like, oh no, they don't like it. I was like, no, that's not what they mean. They actually mean it's interesting. 我觉得很可怕，有那么多学生觉得我说他说事情很有趣的时候，他们认为我是说谎。我说 it's interesting 的时候是真的，因为我觉得很有趣。Now, of course, sometimes you do get people saying things are interesting because they're not really sure what to say. Like that does happen. Maybe you say something that's just kind of outside of their realm of what they know how to respond to. Like they just have nothing to say back to that. Like if you say something completely random, like, I don't know, I've been working on my ant collection, I don't know, like some random example, then they might say, oh, okay, that's interesting. It's like, I don't really know what to say to you, but I'm happy for you. So I want to say something positive because I want to encourage you. So that's interesting. But other times it actually is because it's interesting. It's interesting means, it makes me think in a good way. Yeah, so I don't want people to be walking around in England thinking like, oh, everyone like hates me or thinks that what I'm saying is like not interesting or boring or they don't like me, because that's definitely not true. It's either they really think what you're saying is interesting, which is most of the time, or they're not sure what to say, so they're just trying to like encourage you. The next one is quite interesting. It's probably my fault. 这可能是我的错。Again, the article says that this means that it's definitely your fault. If someone says it's my fault, it means it's your fault. I wouldn't really say that's true. If I say to someone it's probably my fault, I'm actually, either it genuinely is my fault and I'm apologizing, or I'm trying to find a reason why it partly is my fault, which again would be a truthful reason, such as like, oh, I should have explained more clearly, or, you know, if I hadn't done this, then maybe this wouldn't have happened. So I'm just sort of taking responsibility for my side of the situation. Maybe also that means that you're a little bit at fault as well. I really don't think British people would really admit fault if they weren't at fault. That would be quite strange to do, I think. Like, why would you take on some responsibility when it's not your problem? But it's not as simple as me saying it's my fault means it's your fault. Like, no. The next example is if you don't mind, 如你不介意的话. The author said that there was some food left over at dinner, and so he or she said, can I finish it so as to avoid waste? And the host, instead of saying yes or no, said, if you don't mind. The meaning of if you don't mind here is, sure, yeah, like please do. As long as you're okay with it, please help me finish this. The next example is I'll see what I can do. And the example is if your partner is going to take the rubbish out and you say, oh, would you mind also getting from the shop whilst you're outside? And if they say, I'll see what I can do. I think there's an element of truth in this one. I'll see what I can do has a feeling of, you know, it might be a little inconvenient for me, but I'm going to try and help you anyway. It usually has a positive meaning. It's like, I'm going to try and help you. And then last of all, they go into some like email starters, like, hope you're well, hope you had a good weekend. I would say, yeah, that is definitely something that's added in to be polite. And it's just a way to sort of establish good relations, I suppose. It's like before you say, oh, please do this for me, you want to make sure that you're putting the relationship before the task. it's best to express your sincerity towards them before asking them to do something. Otherwise, they might just feel like, oh, you just want something from me. You don't really care about me as a person, which isn't really nice at work. So it's kind of just to make the workplace a little bit nicer, I think. What I would say is true is that there is probably more passive aggression in British culture compared to some others. Passive aggression, which recently in slang has been shortened to pass ag, basically means when you're feeling kind of angry and pissed off, but you just pretend like everything's fine. Like, oh, it's fine, nothing, I'm totally fine, yeah. But to know the difference, you really just need to sense the tone. So if someone says, oh, that's interesting, they might mean, what the f*** are you saying? Right? But if someone says, oh, that's really interesting, they mean, I'm actually really interested in what you're saying. Please keep talking. And if you're not sure what they mean, just take the words at face value. I think that is a safer bet than thinking it's the opposite. So if someone says that's interesting, most of the time they do mean that is actually interesting. I know that it must be quite confusing because it kind of seems like British people are hard to read. Maybe it seems like there's a lot going on under the surface, but it's usually just like issues that we have with ourselves, like kind of, I don't know, maybe they're shy or just, don't know how to deal with social situations or something. So I wouldn't take it personally unless you have strong reason to believe that this person is angry or upset with you. I think people do try to be as honest as they can. Definitely there's an aspect of people not liking confrontation. People don't like confrontation in this country, so they won't say things directly, if there's a risk of it creating an argument. People just find it a lot easier that way rather than making a big deal out of things. People would prefer that the issue sort of wasn't there. So you can just go along with that, I think. But that doesn't mean that whenever they say something positive, they're actually meaning something negative. That's definitely not true. Okay, so that's pretty much all I wanted to say today. Keep in touch and I'll see you soon.